Tales of Fantasia. This podcast was recorded on the lands of the Ngunnawal people of the Bundjalung Nation. I'd like to acknowledge them as the traditional custodians of this land and recognise that sovereignty was never ceded. Hi, welcome back to Tales of Fantasia. My name is Sine, and today I'm being joined by Ellie Amos, who is about to release her debut novel, The Prime Time Experiment. Ellie is a Sunshine Coast-based romance author who writes emotionally driven love stories shaped by her academic and personal experience. So welcome, Ellie.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
It's so great to have you today. Ellie kindly sent me a copy of The Primetime Experiment to read ahead of this interview, and I was up really late last night trying to get it finished. I'm about 70% of the way through now. And I have just absolutely fallen in love with this story and the characters. So, Ellie, I can't tell you how much I love your story.
Oh, it means the world. Hey, yeah, it's still surreal hearing things like that. So I'm just over here like, stop.
Ellie, can you tell us what your debut novel's about?
So the Primetime Experiment follows Riley and Declan. So Riley is a cognitive psychologist with autism. She is basically forced to go on a morning show about brains versus brawns. And alongside her is another guest star, Declan Montgomery, who is a fitness influencer and personal trainer. They basically end up getting into this massive argument, and it kind of ends up becoming this bet where it's like, you know what, prove you're right. And so they end up getting forced together for the next 6 months. And obviously chemistry. We love chemistry. So
And there is so much chemistry in this book. It's such a clever story. And I want to know where you got your inspiration from this, because I haven't really seen any other romance books like this before.
it's a bit of a funny one. So it's a few things. I tried writing this back in 2021. I was studying for my Bachelor of Psychology with honors at the time. I did not end up getting that. I ended up getting a Bachelor of Social Sciences in Psychology. But I was a first year student. I was obsessed with Divergent.
Yeah.
And I was reading a lot of fan fiction to avoid doing university work. And there was an alternate reality where our main character in Divergent 4 is a fitness trainer in like the real world. And I was reading it and I was like, oh man, love him. Like, love him in real life. Like, I need a man like him in
Mm.
real life. And I was sitting in a university tutorial and I was just kind of like, I'm a psychologist. Like, I'm going to be one. Like, wouldn't it be really funny to have like this cute little reality where there's a psychologist and a fitness, a fitness instructor and like how that will work. And I tried writing it and I had no psychological knowledge at this point. Like I'm here going like I'm wide-eyed, first semester, going like, yes, I'm gonna write this cute little rom-com, and it was the worst thing that's ever been put to paper. So I ditched it and I was like, I'm never touching this with a 10-foot pole again. And
Mhm.
then jump to January 2nd of this year. I was in quite a bad predicament. And I was like, I just need to do something to prove to myself that I'm still worthy and capable and,
Yeah.
a functioning human being in this society. And I started writing it with all the psychological knowledge that I had because I'd finally finished the degree and I was still studying postgrad. I still am. And it was just born. It just worked.
That's so cool. I love that your first, like, as a writer myself, I love that you are sharing that your first draft was just total trash and it had to be scrapped, because I feel like there's so much pressure on you as a writer to, like, I definitely feel that myself, to make a first draft polished, but it's not meant to be polished. And it's just really about organizing your thoughts, isn't it?
Oh, and I think you've got to, like, did no research at the time. I had no knowledge, and I was just like, yeah, okay, I'm going to give this a go. And I was
Mm.
trying to write about a psychologist, and she came across like Riley. I love her to pieces, but if she wasn't written the way she was written in this book, she would come across so mean,
Yeah.
so incredibly mean. And without any of that contextual stuff, like you need to understand her as a character. And I had no understanding of her as a character when I first started writing her. So I was like, why is she like, I hate her. Why is she so mean? And I was like, I'm
Yeah.
never touching this again because there is no way anyone's going to enjoy reading about someone that is just so incredibly mean.
Okay, that's really interesting. That leads me really nicely into my next question. Tell me about your character development process. How did Riley come to be who she is in the final, form of your book?
So I was working on a draft before this. I was working on a fantasy novel. I was like, I'm going to be a fantasy author. This is going to be really great. And I was talking to a family member, and I don't know if you're like me, where you like look at someone and you're like, you're so incredibly like ADHD, or you're so incredibly autistic, like you need to go get diagnosed.
Yeah.
I was having a conversation with one of my family members, and in my head, they were saying things, and I was like, "You're so incredibly autistic. Like, I love you so much, but like, there is something here that like you should have been diagnosed with back when you were a kid." And it just kind of clicked for me because I was like, Riley was so mean beforehand because I had no contextual understanding for why she would be like that. And then it kind of just clicked, and I was like, oh my gosh, she's autistic. And it just made everything not better, but it just made everything make sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like finding that
Okay.
final puzzle piece almost.
So cool. I love that. And did Declan change much from your first kind of draft of the novel to now, or did he feel like a character that kind of came to you a bit more fleshed out?
My experience with Declan was very interesting. Aside from the idea of where chapter one started, I had no intention when I wrote this of where this was going to go. I literally did not flesh out any of my side characters. I did not flesh out his family. Like I loved Declan's dynamic with Tyler and his parents. It was very much a like a Kelsey family idea for me, where it's just like they're all
Yeah.
so funny together. But I really had no clue for him except for obviously what I've seen in real life with my own partner and just the ideas of what we deserve. We deserve someone who is just gonna actually take the time to understand us. And
Yeah.
sometimes love in these romance books, and I love these romance books, please do not get me wrong. I am an avid reader. But sometimes we just find that there's these big, declarations and these big scenes where they're doing something that's so you wouldn't see that in real life. And like you wish, but I wanted it to be a romance where Declan was a realistic male character where you could actually see that someone could do this in real life, you know.
Yeah, all those little moments are so much more important than those big declarations of love, aren't they? And I feel like that's one of the things that I loved about Declan. Like for me, the moment that I was like, oh wow, this is a really special character was just him, it's very early in the book where he realizes that Riley is autistic and he calls her to apologize. And just that complete, I loved having his point of view in that part of the book because his complete just ownership that he'd done the wrong thing and read the situation wrong and without making excuses or anything like that. That was the moment for me that I was like, oh my God, this is a really swoon-worthy character, and it's not for those usual, big bold declarations. It's because he's able to admit that he's wrong and he's able to, apologize. And isn't it sad that that's the thing that that we're shooting for with romance
Oh,
in
look,
2026?
I was gonna say the bar's usually on the floor, so anything above that is usually pretty good. But yeah, it was just really important to me because, so many like I was raised on romance novels.
Yeah.
I was raised on that. Like my mum is an avid romance lover. I used to watch Pride and Prejudice with her on repeat, which is why it's in this book at one point. So, seeing all these wide declarations, you're like, it sets a standard that a lot of us don't actually get. Some of us
Yeah.
do, and which is like incredible, but a lot of us don't, and we have this idea of like, oh, this is what love should look like.
Mm,
So reading and writing it, in my case, writing a romance where Declan is just inherently himself and is not afraid to let Riley be herself. Like
yeah.
that's love, you don't want
Yeah.
someone to change for you.
That's exactly right. His complete acceptance of Riley as she is what makes this book so romantic. And like for me, like I've got autism as well, and so reading Riley's character, I got teary kind of, with her meltdown scene in the gym, and then just the way that Declan adapts things for her and changes things for her instead of trying to change her. I think every autistic woman has had that experience of a partner trying to change them rather than accepting them as they are and changing things for them. And so yeah, it was a really raw and tender like read for me to just see that what women deserve, what autistic women in particular deserve. And I think that that's something really special in your book. I think autistic characters can become a bit of a caricature of autism, or autistic women are the butt of a joke in a
Mm.
story. And Riley is very much not that. She's such a fleshed out, fully realized three-dimensional character. And yeah, I just want to thank you for that as an autistic woman, and ask you, like, how important was it for you to write Riley in this way and have this representation in your book?
Very important. I think and it's very similar to what you said, where it's a butt of a joke. Like autistic and ADHD women, the diagnostic criteria, as someone who is studying all of this area, the diagnostic criteria is all based on men. And so we find a lot of us, myself mostly included, get to this point in our life where we're like in our 20s and 30s and we go, oh, I should be getting tested for this because this is really like important. Like, I didn't realize that because I was a high functioning person, and I was academic and I was able to do all these things and I'm able to, pretend to be like I'm someone else in a conversation, that suddenly I'm autistic or suddenly I'm ADHD. Like, because our DSMV criteria is so male oriented, it's been so difficult trying to be able to ascertain, in working in this area, like how we can actually go about changing it. Like, and so for
Mm,
me, part of that is I can't do a lot as a single person. Like, there's not a lot I can do to change that, but I can make it more realistic of what it's actually like to be one of us. And in this book, there is a little girl named Ebony who is also autistic.
I love
Um,
her. She's great.
she's the sweetest, but I really wanted it to be clear that every person's journey is different and every person's voice is going to be different in regards to even something as simple as being autistic.
Mm,
In this book, Ebony is diagnosed with it quite young. And so she's got this beautiful, like the Montgomery family is Declan's family. The Montgomery family is like one of the most supportive environments you can imagine being in as
yeah.
someone who is autistic. And then you've got the opposite with Riley, who is actually struggling to realize that this is what her life should have been like,
Yeah.
And so it's not even just her being autistic, it's also her life that's created her to be the way that she is. And the idea that it's never just, oh, you're autistic, so you're going to act like that. It's you're autistic, but you've also been through so much, and this is why you have become the way that you are. But it doesn't mean that you're
Yeah.
stuck that way.
Yeah, I really
Like,
love that character growth from Riley, and just like that's where I'm up to right now, where she has kind of just opened up to the Montgomery family and seen their reaction, and she's, just had that little breakdown and let herself feel the grief for her childhood. And I think that is such a beautiful moment in the book. Like I think you've really conveyed that so well with the juxtaposition of Riley's experience of being autistic and Ebony's experience, and just their different upbringings and the impact that's had on them. And I think that's, yeah, so well done in your book.
thank you.
So, you said that you first started drafting this in 2021, right? So this is like 5 years in the making.
Kind of. I started writing it back in, yeah, semester one. So it would have been like April of 2021. And I wrote it for about a month and got like maybe like 5 chapters in and went, I hate everything about this. Literally shelved it
Hmm.
until the beginning of this year. So it has been untouched. Like, I did not do anything with it because I was like, I'm never going to be an author. Like, I love reading, but
Yeah.
I'm like trying to write this. Like, this isn't going to work. Um, and then at the beginning of this year, so my birthday is January 1st. So I had my birthday And then I was talking to a family member on January 2nd, and I had all this spare time. I had been injured at work, so I was out, basically pretty much stuck in bed. And
Hmm.
all of I have a few health conditions that they all kind of flared up because I wasn't able to do anything. So I was kind of at this point where I was at a very low point, and I was like, my workplace was telling me because I'm injured and because everything's flared up, like, you're not going to amount to much. And I was at this point, and I was like, listening to what they were telling me, and I was like, this is not true. Like, this is
Hmm.
rubbish. Like, I'm sorry. And
Yeah.
I went, what is the things that I can do from bed that I have wanted to be able to do my entire life? And one of my life goals, aspiration goals, was to become an author. And I was like, well, you know what? I've got the time, so let me prove you wrong. So,
Wow.
yeah.
That's
So,
amazing.
thank you. So, I basically wrote the Prime Time Experiment, which was originally called Muscle to Muscles, which we will not talk about. That was such a bad name. But the Prime Time Experiment was written, like, I wrote it from scratch. I ditched the initial and I wrote it in 2 weeks because it just came to me.
Wow.
Yeah, very, very unique circumstances for how I was able to do that. So,
Yeah.
anyone who's listening who's an author, do not take notes. But yeah, I just had once I'd had that conversation with a family member, everything kind of just clicked. And I was
Hmm.
just able to go for pretty much all day, every day for 2 weeks, like until the early hours of the morning. I was just writing. And once I
Yeah.
had my first draft, which also was terrible, let's be explicitly clear, this book is like draft 8, I think, or 9. Like, it's been through it. But yeah, it just came to me, and I was just, yeah, in 2 weeks, it just poured out.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And then you've just, obviously spent the last few months getting this polished and creating it into the finished product that it is now. Was your intention always to release it indie, or did you consider querying it for trad? Like, what was that decision for you?
I was terrified of querying because every single video I saw was like, I'm in the querying trenches. I'm not going to get out of the querying trenches. Like, good luck. And I was looking at it and I just went, you know what? I want to prove to myself that I'm successful now. I don't want to prove to myself in a few years that I'm successful. And I need
Yeah.
something that's going to push me out of this rut of what people are telling me that I'm capable of. And so I just went, I'm not even going to try querying. I'm just going to publish it because it's my heart and soul on paper. And
Yeah.
it's a piece of myself. It's a piece of what every autistic woman feels. It's, a piece of me proving to myself and to everyone else that I'm incredibly capable. That life doesn't just end because your initial idea of what you were going to do is actually like just doesn't work out.
I love that. I love that so much. I think that it's such a brave and bold choice as an author. Like, either way, whether you're going indie or you're deciding to query, either way, it's such a brave and bold choice. And to just back yourself like that and say, no, I'm going to release this indie and I'm going to like redefine what success looks like for me. I think that's such a powerful thing to do. So yeah, congratulations.
Thank
You're
you.
like you're only a couple of weeks now off release date, and already I've seen some of the ARC reviews that have come in, and they're just incredible. Like, people are really connecting with these characters. How does it feel to know that people are connecting with those characters in this way?
I'm going to be so incredibly honest. When I decided that I was going to release this as a book, I did not think anyone would relate to it. Hey, I was like going like, oh my gosh, I'm going to get 4 stars and lower. Like, don't expect any 5-star reviews.
Mm,
Like, don't expect much from this because this is for me and this is my book and no one's going to understand what it's like to be me and no one's going to understand what it's like to be in this boat. And then I blink and arcs are out and everyone's giving me these like beautiful, gorgeous reviews and I'm getting my first Goodreads reviews have all been 5 stars, and I'm just sitting here like, sorry, people actually understand what this is like. Like, people actually get this. Um,
yeah,
yeah, and I didn't expect it. I'm gonna be so honest. I did not expect it, and I am so incredibly grateful. Like, it has just like I don't expect anything and I never will. But when I was starting to get all of these reviews, I was just every time I'd get one, I'd be like crying, like sending it to everyone I know, going
oh,
like, look at this review, like look at how beautiful it is. Oh,
so
yeah.
lovely. Do you read your reviews, or are you trying not to?
At the moment with ARCs, yes. I have given myself until getting closer to release date. So these first few like reviews that I'm getting, I'm allowing myself to read. Realistically, if I get one bad review, that'll be like the cutoff point where I'm like, I won't be touching this again.
Yeah.
And once it's out, yeah, no, sorry, I'm not looking. I'll get that cute little like Chrome extension you can get where you only see your 5-star reviews.
Oh, that's such a good idea.
Someone, I think it was RA Rain, she pointed it out on Threads and I like my mind was blown. I was like, this, I'm gonna need that. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, no, I will not be touching it after that. No, I don't want my mental health to be crushed.
Yeah, it's such a vulnerable thing as an author to like put your art out into the world in this way. So I totally appreciate that. So what tips do you have for writers who are considering publishing indie? Like, what's this process been for you? What do you wish someone had told you early on, or what advice stuck with you early on in this journey?
The advice that I will give that I wish I had gotten earlier is do not hesitate to reach out to someone and ask for like what they did. Because
Yeah.
I did this when I started, I had like a 50 follower account, like Bookstagram account. So I didn't really have any connection to any other indie authors. I didn't have any sort of connection to anyone who was in the writing genre.
Mm,
And my advice is if you are in that same boat, don't try and do it on your own, reach out to people because I reached out to like people and they're now my friends. Like I talk to them all the time. They are so incredibly helpful. Like they do not hesitate. You know, you may find one author that's like kind of like, oh, like I guess I'll help. But for the most part, like we are all willing to reach out a hand to help you. Like we will pull you through it. So please do not try and struggle on your own.
oh, that's such good advice. I think that you know, a lot of people, I think, especially with some of the bigger indie authors that have kind of, you know, got a little bit of a following, it can be really intimidating or people don't want to hassle them. But I think overwhelmingly the Bookstagram community and the writing community is a pretty like supportive place to be, isn't it?
This has been the most supportive community I've ever met. Um, and this is from someone who has jumped from community to community. And from someone who, like, like Riley in my book, was so like like not afraid to say things the way that they are, and some people take that really offensively.
Mm.
And so this community, I've just been like, I don't understand this. Like, how did you do that? Like, that looks incredible, or like that looks like you've had a professional do it. Tell me how you did it. And they don't hesitate. Like, it's one of the most supportive communities I've ever met.
That's so good to know. Like, that's amazing.
Yeah.
And so you are an artist as well. Did you do your own cover art for the Primetime Experiment, or did
Not
you?
not the cover art, that was the gorgeous Heather Gear, but I did do the internal artwork. So for those of you who have ARCs, you will see it.
So, what do you hope that readers get out of the Primetime Experiment?
I'm gonna be so honest. I feel like I've already gotten it. I feel like people are relating to this book. You know, I feel like people are seeing the parts of my soul that I have bared and have accepted it and taken it and felt it themselves. Which
Mm,
is all I ever wanted. I just wanted one of my author goals for this year was literally to have one person tell me that they felt seen in this book, and I've had so many people already tell me that.
yeah,
Like, when I say that my expectations were on the floor, they really were on the floor. Like my goals were one 5-star review, one person saying they felt seen. Like, and I've had so many more people do that. So, you know, like I want everyone who reads this to feel or see a part of themselves and know that they are worthy and capable of love, which is my
mm,
dedication. Because we all are. And a lot of us find that we don't feel that way and we question ourselves and we go, oh, this person found love, but that's because they've been through all of this, like, or oh, I've been through so much that I don't think I'm worthy anymore. Everyone is worthy and
mm,
capable, and that is what I wanted readers to take, is that
yeah,
someone as simple as Riley, who has gone through so much and has people who do not understand her, is also got people who love and care for her and will not hesitate to fight for her, and everyone deserves that. Everyone
yeah.
deserves that.
That
Yeah.
is so beautiful. And yeah, as I said, like reading this book has definitely made me feel seen, and it is such a beautiful story, and at times heartbreaking, but also
Yes.
just so beautiful. And so yeah, I just want to congratulate you on writing such a wonderful book.
Thank you so much.
And I just have one last question for you, which I'm so excited to ask you. So you're an avid reader, obviously. So
Mhm.
if you could have dinner with any character from any novel, who would it be and why?
Oh, see, this is so tricky, and I have so many answers to this question depending on what genre. But I'm gonna have to go with the classic. Like, I want to sit down with Elizabeth Bennet. I like, as someone who was raised on Pride and Prejudice and who mentions Pride and Prejudice in this book, like, I love her spirit. Like, Jane Austen wrote her with such spirit and tenacity, and this fearlessness in a society where everything was so fearful for women. Like, I want to
Yeah,
sit down with her and I want to talk to her and be like, look at how far women have come. Like, you
mm,
were the setting stone. Like, yeah, if I could sit down with her and Darcy, but
yeah.
but no, yeah, Elizabeth Bennet.
I love that answer so much. Anything else you'd like to share with us before we finish off?
I am so grateful to everyone who was taking a chance on reading this book. I know I ended up having like 90 people sign up for that I've accepted for people who signed up for ARCs. So I'm incredibly grateful for everyone who is reading this, and everyone who is taking a chance on me, and for all of you who do. Not only am I incredibly grateful, but I hope that you love it.
So nice. And what date does your book come out?
Prime Time Experiment comes out on August 17th.
August 17th, everyone lock that in. Pre-orders are open now as well. Get on over to, I'll share Ellie's website link so you can pre-order from her there, or you can also pre-order on Amazon. But there's some little goodies thrown in with the pre-orders from Ellie's website that are definitely worth it. So yeah, thank you so much for joining us today, Ellie. It's been such a pleasure talking to you about this book. I'm so excited you know, to finish the book, first of all, but also to see what happens next for you with the success of the Primetime Experiment. I have no doubt in my mind that it's going to be a successful book launch, and I can't wait to see what you write next.
Thank you so much. That means the world.
You're so welcome.